Why have gray aliens been known to abduct livestock? This happened on live news in Uruguay. As this farmer was being interviewed, the cameraman witnessed a cow levitating into the air in the background. They both seemed pretty shocked by their reactions. Whitley Strieber gives his opinion concerning livestock abductions as a form of food to the ETs. This interview was aired on Linda Moulton Howe's Earth Files.
Okay, let's get into this. The little gray people, two of whom we dissected at Fort Detrick in Maryland some years ago, were found to have a form of copper in their bones instead of bone marrow. Now, to understand why this is, we have to understand what they do, and I'll get into why this is related to cattle mutilations. When they're in one of these craft, in a high-intensity magnetic field, this copper is not magnetically sensitive, but in a high-intensity magnetic field, it generates heat. It generates enough heat in these bodies to keep the bodies functional while they are in a outer space environment, which is extremely cold, absolute zero. And that's why they have the copper. And these are not born creatures. These are biological robots, biomechanical robots. Now, they have very high metabolic needs because of their brains. Their brains have 4 quadrants in their brains. We have 2. That does not mean they're smarter than us. It means they function differently. Their brains are about 20% larger than ours, and they require a lot of metabolic support, which means they have to have high protein content, high sugar content, and in this case, because of the copper that is in their bones, high copper content. On Earth, there is 2 animals that have blood and organs that would make a good food source for someone with those needs. They are cattle and they are us. You and I both know there have been occasional human mutilations that have taken place.
Right.
They're rare, thank God, because these people are not here to have a fight with us. But fortunately, that's not common. What is common, and it's actually more common than you think, because it happens all over the world, but most doesn't get reported, I would assume. They will extract blood and all the relevant needs that are generally organ meat and highly blood-rich tissue like lips and eyelids and stuff like that from these bodies. And they do it with a type of, it's not a laser, plasma knife would be the best way to describe it, and that's why these cuts are so perfect. And they do not touch the ground. They are levitating when they do this, and that's why there's no tracks. And they do this, it's their food source. They're basically slaughtering the animals and doing it differently from the way we do, because they have different tools and different needs to extract different things from the animals. We don't care nearly as much about the blood as we do the meat. We don't care much about the blood. We care about the meat. They care about the blood. They're not that interested in the meat. And they're interested in the parts of the body where there's a lot of sugars collected and carbohydrates collected, and that means certain organs, and that's what they will take. They're literally doing their slaughters out in the fields instead of in a slaughterhouse, because they don't have any slaughterhouses.
This latest video that we have is extremely interesting. And I want you to tell us at home whether or not you think this is an abduction.
Take a close look at this. Field of cows.
Well, how do you explain that then? There you go.
Yep. That's an abduction.
That is definitely an abduction.
Can we do that one more time, Mr. Director?
Why wouldn't, if you're a UFO, if you're an alien, why wouldn't you take our prime beef? It is the best in the world.